This is the end of the season with Brian Powell and Dylan Bowman. We're here at the North Face Endurance Challenge 50-mile championships. How are you, Dylan?
Good. Welcome back to Mill Valley, Brian.
Yes, we're in Mill Valley again. Your fourth time at this race. You live here now. What does this race mean to you?
Well, it's always kind of a highlight of the season. I love 50-mile races, and this one takes place in my backyard on my home trails, so it's really easy to obviously logistically prepare for it, and you know, the level of competition is something that's really attractive to me. And yeah, like I said, when it comes to racing, 50 miles is my preferred distance, I think, and as the sport trends longer, you sort of have to take advantage of those opportunities to race competitive fields. So yeah, there's a lot that's attractive about the race.
So you're not a huge fan of the 100K growth of that distance as opposed to 50 miles?
No, I think 100K is a great distance also. I mean, for me, I've had a lot of success at 100K.
And you've won two big ones this year, Tarawera and North Face, Australia.
Right, so, you know, I'm just not a commentary on anything aside from the fact that I really like the distance.
It suits you.
Yeah, and the way the sport is evolving, it's starting to get longer, but it's still also, you know, the shorter distance mountain style races, the sky races are also gaining a lot of traction as well, but it's sort of like that middle ground, about, you know, what, 60 to 80K, that races are, I guess, sort of being forgotten about. So this fits in that niche, and I love that niche, so I'm excited to race on Saturday.
And how are you feeling going into that? You had really a couple great performances early in the year, and some rough goes at Way Too Cool in Western States. Where are you going into this one?
Yeah, so, you know, this year has been really interesting. I've had, obviously, a couple of really successful races earlier in the year, and then a couple of moments where my body is just cracked. And so I think more than anything, it's a matter of finding balance between those two things. And the early part of the year, everything was clicking, and then after Australia, I didn't really fully appreciate the stress that I took with the heat stroke incident that I had.
At Way Too Cool?
It was at, not Way Too Cool, at the Marin Ultra Challenge.
Yeah, sorry about that.
25K. And obviously Australia was a race where I had to go really, really deep, and then after Australia, before Western States, that's a time when you feel like you really should be training really, really hard, and for me it was a time where I should have really been focusing on recovery. Unfortunately, I ran myself into the ground at that point of the year, so the last couple months have just been you know, about building back up, finding that balance again, and I think I've been able to do that fairly successfly, but we'll see on Saturday.
And you've been moderating your volume, or have you been moderating more in volume or intensity in that period since you went a little too deep?
A little bit of both. So the intensity has definitely come down. Instead of doing what I usually did, which was about 3 workouts a week, I've been doing one with an option of a second. And that has helped a lot. The overall volume has also been a little bit down, but I think because of the fact that I had done so much earlier in the year, both racing and training, taking a little bit of a break has allowed me to absorb a lot of that really hard work that I did earlier in the year, and I think I'm still benefiting from it. And I'm working hard to not sort of put myself back in that same situation, because I feel like I'm a runner that just does better on the lower volume.
Yeah. Now you did a decent amount of racing earlier in the year, but then you had a more or less complete break since, and you had the North Face Endurance Challenge Wisconsin race. But do you feel like you're kind of fresh mentally coming into this weekend's race? Mentally,
Definitely, I feel very fresh, and historically that's always when I've had my best races. That being said, you know, usually before races like this, I have a pretty good intuition of how my race is going to go. And for this one, I really don't know. So, you know, the mental freshness is there. I'm excited to hurt. I'm excited to put myself through what's necessary. And that's not something I could have said before Western States. So I think that's a good indication. Where the fitness is at, really, I don't know.
While you've been working out maybe a little less, having seen your Strava, like your 20 to 30 mile runs on the Headlands trails here, it looks like you're in pretty darn good fitness. Are those your key workouts in the week?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly an important run, the long run. And the energy has been good, and it's been easy to get out the door and get the long runs in, which again, I couldn't have said between Australia and North Face. It was really a grind. While there wasn't anything at that point of the year, at least in my GPS data, to indicate that I was at the bottom of the tank, physically, emotionally, mentally, I felt like I was at the bottom of the tank, and now I feel much more rejuvenated. I feel like I have something in the tank, and you know, that makes me excited to empty it, you know, on Saturday.
Well, good luck out there, Dylan. Have fun. All right, Dylan, one bonus question for you. I don't know if it was on Twitter or Instagram, something out there today. You threw out a picture of a shoe that you're going to be racing in this weekend, sort of debuting in. It's a long way off. It's 3 seasons off still, spring 2017. But what do you be wearing on your feet on Saturday?
Well, it doesn't have a name yet, but I'm really excited about it. I've been working with the North Face on what is sort of the next generation of the Ultra Cardiac, which was pretty successful on the trail scene this past year. I'm not sure if they're going to use the same name or if it's going to be different, but essentially the idea is it's a shoe that fits sort of in the sweet spot. You know, it's not a minimalist shoe, it's not a maximalist shoe. It's a shoe that performs really well for me on the smooth fire road stuff here in Marin, but also can handle the more technical rocky stuff. So it's versatile in that respect, but it's been a real pleasure to work on. It's the first time in my career I've been able to really help in a very active way on a project like this. And the benefit of living in the Bay Area, of course, is that the North Face is also here. So I've been going over to headquarters frequently and meeting with the designers, and I'm able to go through samples quickly, and we're able to look at them together, which I think has been helpful both for me to learn the whole process and for them to have that feedback in person.
Now, knowing you pretty well and your shoe preferences pretty well, I guess there's, if not maximalist, but there'd be some cushioning and some protection in this shoe. Is that sort of a hallmark as well as the everyday use?
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, I'm a bigger guy. I'm not a minimalist shoe runner. I like shoes that I feel comfortable going 100 miles in. And this is definitely a shoe that fits in that category. At the same time, it's not like a big cushion, you know, sort of shoe that we're seeing becoming very popular on the market now. I feel like it fits a sweet spot that you don't really have a lot of options in right now when it comes to something that's sort of between the minimal end of the spectrum.
Now, back in the day, did you ever run like the Cascadia or something like that?
Yes, and I would say it's
that sort of range?
Like
okay.
Yeah. So, again, yeah, I'll be wearing it on Saturday. I'm really excited about it. And I think at this point we're aiming at spring 17. That's still flexible. But yeah, take a look.
Little zoom in there. Stay where you are. All right, that's all you guys get to see.